I'm your host, Raquel. This podcast is to help you experience being blessed that transcends a mere hashtag. Let me add my disclaimer. I'm not a preacher, prophet, or Bible scholar, but I am a God-worshiping, Jesus-loving, Bible-believing, New Thought Christian who believes that God blesses us according to our faith and how we work his principles. So if you're ready to be encouraged, enlightened, and entertained, then you're in the right place. I'm broadcasting on WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network, a non-profitable charitable radio broadcast with a mission to empower, encourage, and educate. Donations are always welcome. To help further the mission, you can donate at www.wytv7.org. Today's podcast is sponsored by Blessed Mind Coaching. Are you ready to elevate your thinking, develop an abundance mindset, and release the limiting beliefs that are keeping you from living an abundant life? Then join the free 5-day Elevate Challenge at www.raqueltosin.com. So today, we're still in February, we're still talking about love. But today we're going to do a little bit something different. I have two guests with me, and we're going to discuss dating over, I'll say, the age of 45. So if you're under 45, you might not be interested in this, but you might be, because if your parents are dating, you might want to kind of know what they're going through. And if you're over 45, you want to buckle in and you want to listen today. And if you have any comments, please comment, and maybe we'll talk about it on another show. All right, so my first guest is CL Reed. I want you to just introduce yourself to the audience, CL.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Raquel. My name is Crystal Reed, and in business, I go by CL Reed, just for brevity. I am an owner, operator, co-host, and business owner of a short-term rental company, management company by the name of A Sweet Collaboration. And just for a personal plug, you can find us on, Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram. Everything is under A Sweet Collaboration, SUITE. And I've been doing that for some time, been in the real estate market. I also operate a virtual assistant business under BCC Small Business Management Services. So we support people who don't want an entire staff, but do need administrative support. And I'm 55, so well over 45, but okay.
Right. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, Keith Turner.
What's going on, cousin?
Keith is my cousin, and y'all know how I love bringing my family on. But Keith is my cousin, but he's awesome. So Keith, tell everybody about yourself.
My name is Keith Turner. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I run a business called Turn Group Technologies. That's my core company. And I also have some other business interests in an insurance company, an advertising company, and I have a podcast now that's called Money Mondays with Art Keith. It's designed to make financial topics, personal finance topics, very, very unintimidating. So anytime my family asks me to do things, I try to accommodate. So I got a laptop on my lap. Occasionally, I may look down at it, but I am completely focused on what you're talking about. So I appreciate you inviting me on.
Awesome, awesome. We're going to have to talk about finances, because I think in April, I was going to really want to do a lot of stuff about finance, especially with, taxes and stuff. So we will definitely have you back. All right, so let's just get into the topic. So one of the things that I guess the first question, when you are been single and life is good because you're working, you got businesses and all that stuff, why date? Like, why date? Anybody?
So you want the female or the male perspective?
So give me the female perspective. Why date? If you're like everything you good, you settled at this age, you kind of settled in your life. Why should we be even thinking about dating?
Personally, I did not date for a long time. I dated prior. I'm a single mother. I have one daughter who's an adult, and I stopped dating when she was approximately 4 years old. I determined that I wasn't meeting the quality of person that I wanted in her life and my life. And so I just stopped dating. And I chose not to date again until she was 18 or in college, whichever came first. And it's a discussion she and I had the entire time she was growing up. Was it easy? No. Especially I was, in my prime, I was in my 30s and 40s. But it was a commitment that I thought was important. After that time, though, it was all about me and my needs. So she's grown, she's gone, and it's time for me, or I felt like it was time for me to seek companionship. And so I dated. I started dating. I got on different dating sites. I networked. I'm a consummate networker, so I network with friends and family, and then online. Hey, if you know somebody, I'm out on the market. And seriously, I mean, I approached it like I approach all my business. It was a project, and found an individual that were quite compatible, and I like the companionship. So the companionship complements my business life.
Okay.
The individual is very supportive of my entrepreneurship and of me, and now is a good time. So in short answer, now is a good time to bring someone in as a compliment and not as a financial need. I guess when you're younger, it's all about building a life together, a network together, a family together, your finances together, and that's not where I am at this point.
Right.
So,
okay, so Keith, why date? The male perspective.
I mean, it's such a broad question. I think that, companionship, people, if you're trying to relegate it to an age group, I don't necessarily think that everybody looks at things based on age. Now, you have a clock that some people are concerned with, biological clock, but the reality of it is that I think Crystal said it best. Companionship is one thing. And then, you may not be interested in or requiring a financial support system, but it absolutely is good in companionship that financially, if the person is able to take care of themselves, you're able to take care of yourself. When you collaborate, you probably have a better opportunity to do some things that you both might have in common. So if it's travel, if it's if it's starting a business, if it's building a home together, whatever the situation is, I think dating at any age, it allows for you to have some companionship. It allows for you to grow your relationships. Depending on the type of family you're in, you add another family, like like I know.
Right.
So if you up to us and you meet our family, then you have a whole new tier of people that you meet and you learn about. So why date? It's your prerogative. If you need that companionship, if you want that companionship, if you just need social companionship, you choose to date when and why you date. So my opinion is, why date? Because you can.
Because you can. I like that. I like those answers. Okay, so is dating different though? Like I think you kind of alluded to it. Maybe when you're younger, you're looking for somebody to take care of you. This is for CL, especially because women, we want somebody maybe to take care of us, but when we're older, we can take care of ourselves. So that's not necessarily what we're looking for. So is the dating different because we actually are different?
Well,
yes.
I wouldn't make. Oh, go ahead.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It is for me. I was raised by a two-parent home, but to be a very independent person in the event Mr. Wonderful never came along. So that was not a challenge for me. I've always taken care of my household, taken care of my bills. Not that I didn't need anyone. I was just responsible, so to speak. It would have been nice to have the addition of a counterpart, but that's just not how my life worked out. So now that kind of like all of that is behind me, child rearing, what are some, those are things that you deal with when you're younger, establishing your credit, getting a car, getting a home. I'm on my fourth home. So those things I've done independently. And so now it's nice to have someone that those things aren't a stressor. Those things are no longer my goals. Those things are no longer what we're so focused on and working so hard to get. Now we just focus on time with each other. And so dating now, you know, it adds to that. There are no small children to be concerned about. There's no daycare. There's no chance of pregnancy. You know, all of those things that are so overwhelming when you're dating when you're younger or
Right.
married when you're younger are off the table. And so now we just enjoy each other's company. And so dating is very different now. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Keith?
I agree with Crystal for the most part. I don't want to characterize this as, we're of the age that you just enjoy each other's company and there's nothing else that, that is of interest, So, I mean, again, like I mentioned earlier, it could be, collaboration from a personal or social perspective, but it could be a business collaboration. It's no pressure to do those things, but the reality of it is those still are goals that people have. So if it's, if it's travel, if it's more entertainment, if it's, collaborating in business, I'll go back to what I said at first is that, those things are there. So, you absolutely will have an opportunity to enjoy somebody probably more. But the reality of it is that, you still have a bunch of things in life, a bunch of goals that you want to reach. Just because you reach 45 or 55 or you have multiple houses, it doesn't mean you don't have other 55, even 65, looking at the people in my family is a goal to say, okay, I'm gonna kick back and do nothing or just enjoy this person. I think it's still a tremendous amount of things that you can accomplish in life in addition to finding that companion. So I just would add that, you continue to grow with that person and, there are people who might need, companionship financially. They might need an investor. They might need support. I'm just saying in a nutshell, you in a relationship, or you dating, or you have a companion. I want people to think that because you're a certain age that a whole ton of other activities and goals don't exist. You enjoy that person, but you enjoy that person and you guys collaborate on other ideas and goals and like that. So.
You're right. I get it because I do agree with that. Because when I look at me trying to find somebody, I need somebody that has a little money because I love to travel. And like my traveling now involves traveling internationally. And, so I need somebody that can do that. Not to mention that I live in LA and a lot of people that I meet may not live there. I need them to be able to get to me. They need to be able to travel to LA, and I like staying in nice hotels. I'm just saying, so for me, I know when I was younger, I may not have required that kind of thing, but now that I'm older, I think mine has changed to the point where I do kind of need people to be a little bit more financially stable, or not just stable, but like have some extra money to do stuff. I think I'm kind of there where I need them to have a little bit of extra money to deal with. I'm a little pickier, I think, now that I'm older. Like, I don't just, it's like, definitely. I am so much like, okay.
I wouldn't consider it pickier.
Really?
You're more refined in your expectations. And to kind of capitalize on what Keith said, you should always have goals and goals should always be moving forward. But I believe our priorities change as we get older. Like I said earlier on, you meet somebody, oh, I want to have kids with that person. I want to build a life with that person. I want to build a home with that person. And then once you're 45 and up, generally, some people are starting out having families at 45.
Right.
Now those are no longer your priorities. So yes, your financial goals or your, desire to build your wealth, your income or whatever, travel, those should be in collaboration with someone that you're compatible with. But along with that, where you were in your teens and your 20s and your 30s and what your ideal list was for an individual at 40, 45, 50, 55, 65. That list is refined. You don't care if they have good hair. You know, it's not important because by this point, none of us have hair, you know, it's not ours. And so you want someone who's kind and caring and loving and supportive and not crazy and has no record. And, you know, you've changed your priorities. So that doesn't make you picky. That makes you educated. You know, that makes
wait a minute, you
mature.
You done just knocked me out with the good hair. And then you said no record. Oh my God, I can talk about the record thing.
Exactly.
Ooh, but as you get older, it seems like a lot of people have records. But I'm like, I'm sorry, I just don't really want that person. Keith, what is on the man side? What you got about being pickier?
She really just kind of, I agree with you all. I mean, because you've experienced more, you know, you do refine what you want, and because you're getting older and because you learn and you start to figure things out differently, what you look for is different, you know, and people evolve and people have the right to evolve. Your life is fluid. You have the right to define what you want, who you are. And so as that goes, you figure out, okay, well, you used to like this. Nah, I really don't like that anymore. Now, you know, I like women, maybe it could be looks. I like women that look this way. I like women that do this type of stuff. Now it's like, you figure out what you want. So, I mean, you define what you want. But I agree. I think it's reasonable and it's just natural for people to refine what they look for, become more pickier, refined. It's essentially the same thing. And you figure out more and more what you want to have in your life. And most of the time, people are better off figuring out what they don't want in their lives versus what they want. People can have a million things that they want, and that's not necessarily descriptive of any particular person, but people can immediately tell you what they don't like emphatically with a passion. And so you say, oh yeah, what don't you like? Oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. So I think, you know, a lot of times people, as they get older, they start to really define what they don't like and what they don't want. And that actually helps you better refine how you spend time. Because again, as you get older too, you assume that time is less. And so, you know, you're hitting the hill, you're at the hill, you're coming down the hill, and you want to, even more than when you were younger, you want to value your time and who you spend your time more.
Definitely that. Definitely that.
Exactly. Amen.
Yeah. So I have a question though. How young is too young? And I'm wondering if it's going to be different for the male and the female perspective, but how young is too young? And they call women cougars when we date, I guess, what, a person that's 20 years younger than us? I don't know. Is it 15? I don't. But how young is too young? Let's start with Keith this time.
You know, I got friends that date as young as 10, 15 years under their age. And I got friends who date probably 10 or so years over their age. So it really depends on what the person is looking for. You know, I got a buddy that I got quite a few friends who just had children in their mid 40s, 45, 46. And I know women who've had children in early 40s, mid 40s. So, you know, it really depends on what the person's looking for. And I think that could dictate the age. I think that the type of activities that the person does can dictate the age. So I think everybody kind of has an idea of where they might want to go or where they could go. And I think there's some people, in most cases, I'm not judging folks who, I think most people kind of have a range or at least a threshold that they won't pass, you know. And so I hear a lot of friends of mine that have children that are adult age are like, man, you know, this woman was trying to talk to me, but I had to tell her, you know, she's my daughter's age. I can't date somebody my daughter's. And then, and we were talking about a couple people that we knew that were in their mid 50s and approaching 60, and they went and bought some expensive sports cars. And so one person in the conversation said, yeah, they're going through a midlife crisis, blah, blah, blah. And then we really had a discussion on the topic, and it really became one of these things where, you know, some things could be like a quote unquote midlife crisis, but other things might be at the point in life as they start to work toward what they were able to gain, meaning that, you know, they reached a certain area and they were able to save a certain amount. And that might have been a long time goal that they were able to reach, and they bought it. So it may have been a planned idea versus midlife crisis, but I think that, you know, people tend to kind of make decisions based on what they're comfortable with. So, you know, back to your point is that, you know, I think there's a pretty broad range depending on what the person's goal is. But, you know, I mean, you know, you figure it out. If you have children and your children look at you and say that's gross, I think that might be a key to chill out and, you know, different decisions. So,
CL, what do you think?
I don't know if I agree with that last statement, Keith, because my daughter is 23. She'll be 24 this year. And she says, ew, old people love. Yeah, I'm like, how old is old people love, you know? But I agree. You know, priorities change. Personally, don't judge me. This is a judge-free zone, right?
Right.
I preferred younger men. So, which I always thought God created a joke of making young men in their prime in their 20s and women prime in their 40s.
Right.
That's cold. That's
right.
cold,
Right.
right? And so I did for the longest, you know, my family joke was, what? He's older than your younger brother? You know? and I liked to date, so call me a cougar. I've been cougaring a long time. Younger men, simply because for the most part, we're talking about dating. We're not talking marriage.
Right.
Simply is commitment, you know, building a house. Younger men were fun. And that dating was fun. That was their purpose, fun. I'm not going to fill in the blanks. We're all adults here. They were fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're more energetic. They want to try new things. They don't have a fear of breaking a hip. They just want to live out loud, right? As you move onto the right, when you get more mature, you have to go, I don't heal the way I used to. I better not, you know, do certain things. So that's what older men are for. They're more solid, you know, they're more dependable. They got their priorities. That's when you date those. So to be honest, the gentleman that I'm dating now, it'll be 2 years this June, is younger than me by 2 weeks. By 2 weeks.
Oh, just by 2 weeks, though.
Just by 2 weeks. But he's younger. I kept up my record. So we do mature things because we're mature people and we have mature goals and mature responsibilities and mature priorities. But prior to settling down, say 5 years ago, I did not mind dating younger men. Now you ask what the threshold is. Again, I turned 55 last year. Do I want to date somebody in their 20s at that point? No. We all know that's fun and games. Or I won't call it a fetish. If you like something different, I don't like to label it a fetish. That's what you like. You know, older people, feet, size. But, sorry about that. But to me, I don't like to label it fetishes. That's what you like. Some people do have a daddy complex or a mommy complex, or, you know, so some people do like to marry older people. They just have that they feel comfort in that. I'm not interested in that. So, you know, anybody who, my threshold is probably about 5 or 6 years.
Oh, okay.
So somebody 6 years younger than me, I'm okay. I'm comfortable with that. At 55, do I want to date somebody who's 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? I kind of no.
See, and I agree with you. The time has gone by so fast, but I don't mind going down. But the further we go up, because now you're talking about I got to be somebody's nurse. Like nope, I don't want to do that. I don't know. That's just me. And then I'm like, because my father is still alive, so I already got a daddy. I don't want somebody my daddy age. And then I have a son too. I got it both ways. I don't want nobody my son age. So it's like I'm like right there, but yeah, I can't do that.
Don't just throw every 75, 85-year-old away, Raquel. No, you know, don't give up on people.
Okay, no, I'm just saying, but my daddy is, I'm not trying to date nobody my daddy age. My daddy's in good health. My daddy's in good shape. So it's not that, but But I know I met a lot of 55-year-olds that's not in good shape like my daddy. So I'm just saying. But we do look young because nobody believes that I'm 50 years old when they look at me. Nobody believes it. So we do look younger. We do take, I'm trying to take better care of myself so I can live longer and be healthy. Not, I don't want to be on nobody's medication or anything like that. But hey, y'all, we got to close out. Thank y'all so much for being on the show. Thank you for your opinions. I really appreciate it. Keith, you were going in and out sometimes, so we got to go and look at it. Hopefully, everybody was able to hear all your good nuggets. CL, thank you so much. And I will see, and for all my listeners, I will see you guys next week. Be blessed.
All right, take care.